Today I'm waking up in New York City. I've been here the last few days on vacation and I brought the iPhone 16 with me. I've been staying in a super tiny hotel, but that's really all the space I need. And this video is 48 hours with the iPhone 16, or 2 days in the life.
Okay, so it's a super rainy day here in New York City, the last day of my little vacation. Got the iPhone 16 with me here. Hit some stores, get some food, coffee, you know. I mean, the weather's not really ideal, but it should be okay.
My first stop of the day is a quick and fresh breakfast. I'm starting out the day by replying to some emails I've been waiting on and scrolling through some social apps. And after breakfast, I'm heading back out into the rain. I want to make a few stops at some clothing stores here and maybe get a few new pieces for the fall. So first, 2nd Street. There's lots of stuff, but I didn't really find anything that I was looking for. Next is Rogue. And I almost bought these Jinkos, but then I remembered I actually already have 2 pairs. Then I headed out a bit further, and checking the battery, my phone is now at 68% just after 12. I guess the full brightness and constant mapping are a pretty deadly combo. Next stop, Dover Street Market. This place is basically an art gallery that just happens to sell designer clothing, and it's got some heat. Over 7 floors of clothes broken up by brands, and a Rick Owens bench. Next stop, the MoMA Design Store. I find this is a place to be inspired and see some really unique products, and I always do.
Okay, so it's about 2:30. The phone is at 49%, and I've pretty much just been using it for taking photos, Google Maps, walking around. I did a lot of shopping, but didn't really buy much of anything except for this tiny hat from the MoMA Design Store, as well as these Nike dry fit MoMA socks, which will definitely get some use. So pretty much done here in Manhattan. I want to head over to Brooklyn now to get some food. I'm actually starving since this morning, and see you guys there.
After mapping to my lunch spot, I hopped on the subway and headed to Brooklyn. Brooklyn reminds me a lot of my home, which is Toronto, and I do enjoy parts of Manhattan, but Brooklyn is really where my heart is and where I feel the most comfortable.
I finally made it to Brooklyn. Heading over to Winson Bakery. I've been once before, it was pretty incredible. There was a huge line. Hopefully this time, I can just go, grab a sandwich and leave. It's gonna be so good.
Winson Bakery is a restaurant with a fusion of Taiwanese and American flavors, and probably my new favorite lunch spot in the city. My go-tos are the egg and cheese and Geokai pancake, which are both sandwiches that use a scallion pancake as bread. Basically the best sandwich ever. I also grabbed a coffee and caught up on some notifications that I missed. And then back out into rainy Brooklyn. Next, a stop at Japan Village. I love this area. It's a super industrial part of Brooklyn, and the fusion of the buildings with tons of character and some of the Japanese decor throughout really is quite lovely.
Just won this. So this is Japan Village. Basically, this is like a whole building full of just like Japanese vendors and food and everything. I'll see you later tonight.
I grabbed some photos, and honestly I'm starting to use the camera control button a lot more and more these days. I guess it just depends on the scenario. After a few hours of exploring, I hopped back on the subway to Manhattan. It's getting pretty dark out. Okay, so it's around 7:30 now. My battery is at 7%. I'm gonna stick on a battery pack just so I can get through the rest of the evening. I'm gonna take some photos, get some dinner, and then I'm gonna call it early tonight. On my way to dinner, I stopped to grab a few night shots and test out the low light performance of the iPhone's camera. And it does manage to pull a lot of detail out of a pretty dark scene. I've been quite impressed with this device, and as a pro iPhone user, this iPhone really isn't missing much of anything for daily usage, except the battery life is just okay. I've been craving spicy moon, so I made a stop there for dinner and to relax a bit. And now, time to head back to the hotel. I have an early start tomorrow, heading back to Toronto. So I got upstairs and placed my phone on the charger, which was now at 60% after using the portable battery. Now, if you've been curious what battery and charging station I've been using lately and also throughout this video, they're actually from today's sponsor, Anker. This is Anker's MagGo UFO and MagGo Power Bank, which are my favorite charging accessories at home and on the go for trips like this. The MagGo UFO simply unfolds and has 3 charging pads, a Qi 2 15-watt fast charging MagSafe pad for your iPhone, a charging pad for your AirPods, and an authentic Apple Watch charger with fast charging. This is honestly amazing for travel, as it packs 3 chargers into one super compact, clutter-free system that just plugs in with just a single USB-C cable. While the MagGo Power Bank is perfect for topping up my iPhone during busy days like this one, and all you have to do is slap it onto the back of your phone, it holds on with magnets, and starts charging your iPhone wirelessly. I'm a pretty heavy user, so I like to have a power bank with me at all times, especially for this device. And this one is super slim, compact, and very comfortable to use with the iPhone, and it also has a 10,000 mAh battery capacity. This is the slimmest 10,000 mAh Qi 2 battery pack that also has 15-watt fast charging. The battery also looks clean and minimal and feels great to hold with its matte finish, and a 30-watt USB-C port for recharging the battery pack. If you're interested in these accessories, hit the link in the description down below to get them for yourself, and thanks to Anker for sponsoring this video. And now, good night. It's an early start, and after a quick trip back home, we're back in Toronto. I just got back in the city here. It was a great trip to New York, definitely much needed, but we're back. Got the iPhone 16 with me. We're still pretty much at like 100% battery. I was barely using it on the flight back. But we're finally back in the car now. This is the Mercedes-AMG GT63E Performance. It's quite the name, but this car's crazy, especially with the blue paint job. Matches the iPhone perfectly. Pretty happy about that. And now, time to head home. Heading back home finally. I just gotta hang out at home for a little bit. It's been a very long last few days, so I'm gonna go home, check on the cats, hang out for a bit there, and then go on for the rest of the day. After finally getting home, I said hey to the cats who had been with the sitter while I was gone, and now a cup of tea, and a quick catch up on everything I missed the past few hours. As well as replying to a few business emails. I actually do like the smaller iPhone. I'm usually a Pro Max user, so it's a slight transition, but I gotta say, typing is a bit more challenging on this device for me personally. I'm actually heading to Japan next week, for 2 weeks this time, so I wanted to add a few more places to my list, and this is going to be quite the trip, and I'll try to take you guys along with me like I did last time. I also reviewed some of the photos I took while in New York, and I'm quite happy with the iPhone's camera. It's so good to be home, finally back from New York. Today I'm going to take it pretty easy, but I also have a bunch of stuff I want to get done today as well, so gonna head to the studio and see where we go from there. I arrived at the studio, and the first thing I gotta do is a little bit of cleaning. It's a big space, and an old space, so it definitely needs a good vacuum pretty often. I have to record a bit of A-roll for a video on the iPhone 16, so in my back room, which is a bit of a mess, I'll admit, I recorded a few clips. And a couple B-roll clips of the iPhone out in the main section. Okay, so the studio's nice and clean now, got a bunch of work done over here. I actually got A really cool product I bought on Amazon. It finally came in from the States. This is basically a display that attaches to the back of your iPhone and mirrors the front display. It's not a very sharp display, but you know, when you're taking shots of yourself with an iPhone, you want to be able to at least frame yourself up. So, quick unboxing. Okay, so there's the display itself. So this is the setup. Okay, so here we go. Basically, it thinks it's an Apple TV, and then you just screen mirror to this display. Okay, so this actually does work. Framing up a shot like this is not such a bad solution. Anyways, I'm gonna give this a try. I'm gonna stick this on a tripod. I'm gonna go outside and do a little bit of a demo shoot. I'm gonna shoot some desk setups out in the wild, kind of like this series I've done in the past. I wanna add a few more additions to it. So let's give this thing a go. The first concept, showing an old MacBook Pro with basically an endless amount of cables plugged in, and God, I miss ports. For shoots like this by myself that can be a little bit awkward, using the self-timer, camera control button, and now this mini display are honestly a perfect combination for doing photo and video shoots by myself. I'll link this display in the description down below if you're interested. I then headed outside, and it's a beautiful day in Toronto. I'm so glad to be out of the rain. My next concept, iMac on a park bench and on a rock. The perfect outdoor setup for 1998. And finally, a little Italian restaurant themed desk setup with the classic tablecloth, some bread, focaccia, paired with the OG Macintosh 512K. And after reviewing some of the shots, I'm pretty happy. Alright, so just finished the setup shoot with the iPhone 16. It did a pretty amazing job, honestly. All the colors, outdoors, dynamic range, inside at the studio. I'm really happy with the cameras on this device so far. A lot more testing to do, of course, but so far, very impressed. And also with that secondary screen, it makes shooting alone a lot more helpful. Okay, so I just got a really interesting business email. I mean, you can see the email right now. Like, it's definitely an interesting proposal. I think I'm gonna just do it. I'm gonna call up my friend Liam and see if he can help me out, though. Yo, okay, so I got this really interesting business email. They want me to make like a bunch of sandwiches, take photos of them for this upcoming campaign. I mean, you're the right guy for the job, so do you want to help?
Yeah, sounds good. Let's do it.
Okay, see you soon. Okay, we gotta go. I headed back to the studio and met up with my friend Liam. We did a bit of planning on how to tackle this interesting shoot. Then hopped in the car and headed out to get some supplies. Oh, this thing's pretty crazy. Alright, back in the car, heading on now to get some groceries for this shoot. For some reason, they asked me to do it, so that's what we're gonna do. Then a quick car wash. And finally a lunch stop. Found this spot called Francesca Bakery. Right now the phone is at around 60%. I've had it on full brightness all morning because the screen isn't as bright as I'm used to on a Pro iPhone, but let's head and get some lunch. This is exactly what I was looking for. Potatoes, peppers over here. Got like a massive arancini, and got a sandwich over here for Liam as well. To all the people who told me in the last video not to put anything on the hood of a car because it's, I guess, disrespectful, I'm using the spoiler this time, so. We started out with a bit of graphic design work, then got to actually building the sandwiches for this campaign. This first one is kind of inspired by the Burger King all-cheese burger from Thailand with a bit of a Cheeto twist. Next, a spring roll seaweed salad takeout sandwich, and finally a classic beef and broccoli sandwich. We then did a bit of styling and got to shooting with the iPhone on a tripod. Yeah, these sandwiches are definitely a type of thing you'd want with a more open, more relaxed kind of mindset and extra hungry. But hey, that's what the brand was looking for, and the shots turned out pretty good. All you really need these days is some good lighting and a nice white seamless backdrop. Alright, the shoot's finished. This phone did exceptionally well, especially with the 2x zoom camera. We've got a bunch of great shots, I think. We still gotta go through them and edit them, but I think the brand's gonna be pretty happy with the stuff we got. At this point, the iPhone is at 14% battery. It's pretty close to 5 o'clock right now. I'm gonna have to definitely bring a battery pack with me to get through the rest of the day, but we've been pushing this phone, putting it through its paces, so I'm not really too surprised. But for now, gonna do some editing, then we're gonna head out for the next stop of the day. We airdropped the shots to my computer and got to editing and reviewing before sending off the finals to the brand. At this point around 5 o'clock, my battery was at around 10%. All of those photos and taking them on full brightness definitely did a number on the battery for this device. So once again, I slapped on the Anker battery pack. As if we weren't sick of food by now, we had barbecue dinner plans with some friends.
Are you kidding me? That was crazy.
And after dinner, I headed to a concert by myself. After getting home around 11 o'clock, I was pretty tired, and my battery was at around 70% after charging for a bit with the battery pack during the evening. I slapped my phone on the charger, got in bed, and now, time to go to sleep. It's been a pretty long last few days. And for now, good night, and thank you for watching.